Thank you so much, sir, for joining us today.
Thank you, Vishal.
The topic of our discussion today is building resilient schools and the mental well being of children. So, let me start with our first question today, sir. What does resilience mean in terms of schools and how does one go about it?
Thank you, Vishal, for having me on your show once again. I have a very interesting answer to your question. Before coming to the main answer, let me tell you resilience. It has got two very prominent parts to it. One is Resi, R-E-S-I, and another is L-I-E-N, right? Lien. So every individual, not only children, all of us have some lien to this universe. And what is that lien? That we must have good opportunity, good health, well being, prosperity, peace. This is the lien that we have, isn't it? But often there are some resistances to it. And our ability to adapt and then thrive, even in the face of adversities, is what we call resilience, right?
Right.
Now, a school has to be resilient. School is a whole family, teachers, parents, management, the students, and of course the communities. And this whole family develops mechanism for everybody to thrive and flourish, despite all the challenges and problems and setbacks. And if we can develop that mechanism, then we are a resilient school.
Wonderful, sir. Wonderful. Thank you so
Yeah.
much, sir.
Thank you, Vishal.
So, that brings to our second question that in your experience, what are the biggest challenges that a student faces in terms of mental health and well being?
So I would differ a bit here, Vishal, that it is not that they face problem in mental health and well-being. They face problem somewhere else, and that results in this, right?
True.
So what are those problems? Now, children, they are growing, and so they are negotiating and navigating their life every day in a bigger and bigger society. Imagine they just leave their houses, a smaller family. These days, even smaller families in comparison to what was decades ago. They come to a social environment of school. So many friends, many strangers, adults around. And then their cognitive problems, the academic pressure, comparisons. As they grow, then the expectations of the parents, of the society. So, this is how the whole thing moves around, isn't it? Now, all the children are not equally poised and equally prepared to negotiate all these challenges in their life. So these are very natural developmental issues, right? But apart from that, now in today's world, there are some unknown, unforeseen external things also, because they are all the time comparing themselves also. How do I do vis-a-vis so and so? Right? The influence of media, the influence of their parents' friends, isn't it? The societies and the muhallas where you live in. So, if I break it down, of course, your academic pressure, the expectational pressure, the social media, and of course, your inability to handle it. So, all these together, they will result into something. And the first victim of this is your health, your mental stamina, your ability to cope up. And the many manifestations of this goes to an acute form, which we call mental health, isn't it? So mental health is not a very finite, discrete thing. It has got many stages to it. At a lower stage, there are not very important signals or symptoms. But at one stage, everybody knows that so and so is suffering from it.
So basically, what we see is only the outcome.
Outcome
Of
of what has been underlined.
So it is better to catch at the first or the second
Exactly.
stage as early as
Exactly.
possible, spot
Exactly.
it, so that we can work on that.
Absolutely. So the answer to that is that what we do is mostly, uh, the parent and child relationship, student and teacher relationship, what are the interventions we are making, so this severing of relationship, is probably, in my opinion, is the primary cause of child's inability to handle their problems, because a child needs a lot of emotional energy, and emotional energy will come from somebody in the life of the child, maybe a peer or an adult or whosoever, making the child believe in herself, making the child feel very important, making the child, that you are important, and all the time offering the shoulders for the child to lean on and share and confide and get solace. So, in the absence of this, it also becomes very difficult how to navigate it.
So this brings up to a follow-up question, sir, because you raised a very pertinent point about social media.
Absolutely.
So, and most of this generation, unfortunately, is glued on their screens, and the social media, the Instagrams and the Facebook and the TikToks. I think all these are contributing to the suffering in the, or probably in some way affecting the mental health of these children.
Yeah. So, how it is affecting the mental health? When you are glued to social media, what are you doing? Either you are a passive consumer of what you are watching or something like that, or you are actively participating in the conversations. And then those conversations, what is the quality of that conversation? How that quality or whatever it is affecting your mind, your thought process. So you become a very solitary person, isn't it? And then you develop new expectations, whether I'm liked it or not, whether there is a approval or not, whether I'm fitting into this new world or not. So everything becomes very, very self-centered. And if in that self centeredness, the people who are around are also exploiting or leveraging your that isolatory situation, it is not helping you, isn't it? It's not helping you at all. And therefore, the answer to this is, which I believe, in my opinion, is very, very important, that schools and the parents, they should not all the time leave the children on their own. I think there must be some moments and occasions of intervention, sitting together, talking together, maybe eating together, right? Conversations together, having a dialogue together. At home, parents sharing their own stories with the children, which many of them do not do. And children grow up without knowing what are the hardships my parents have undergone in raising me like this and giving me all the comforts that I had today, isn't it? So that is one thing. In the schools also, we are so much focused on developing our cognition in history, civics, and physics and geology, that we are not bothered that where this whole thing nests, the cognition nests where? It nests in our mind, it nests in our body. And therefore, the seat of all these things is not taken care of.
Very unfortunate and very true what you said, that most of the families have stopped eating together. The conversations don't happen. The parents are there either on their laptops, on their phones. They're glued to their screen times. Fair enough, they also want their me time, but they forget that the spending the time with the children is as crucial. It's extremely critical at this age, which is a very impressionable age.
Yeah, you see, I'll tell you something here, and I hope it is not a bit of a digression. Every parent has an aspiration that my child would do this, this, this. When? At the age of 18, 19, 20. And this aspiration parents develop when? Maybe when the children are 4 years, 5 years, when they go to school, one, two, three, they develop this. But between these 4 years and 19 years, what is the contribution parents make in realizing those dreams?
I get you, sir.
You get my point?
I get you, sir.
So you have to invest in it. And your investment is not only paying the fee to the school or providing a car for the commute.
Very important point that you made, and I hope the parents who are watching this takes it home, then they delve on this, and they, in case they're not doing it, they should be doing this, spending time with their children as much as possible. a quality time with their children.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What do you think, sir, is the role of a school counselor in helping the children identifying and at the same time supporting them who are going through some mental health challenge?
Good question. So, first of all, what is the role of the school? And then we'll come to counselor.
So,
So the schools are not only the places for the children to develop expertise in the textbooks. It is beyond that. So you have to develop your personality, you have to develop your character, your values, your attitude. You have to develop skills in managing your relationship, ability to work in a team, to celebrate others also, and then ability to apply your knowledge and skills. Right? That is what it is, and where the seeds of this will be sown in the corridors, classrooms, playgrounds, or the hallowed halls of the school building, right? So this is where it has to happen. And therefore, the ultimate finality, if we visualize the outcome of a child's education in a school, is that whether we have equipped the child to flourish in this world or not only get marks or something like that,
very well said, sir.
So that flourishing will come from where? I think your tagline is also heal, grow, and flourish.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yes.
So the flourish is the key word. And for that, I think the schools and the teachers have to play a very, very important role. Now, your question was, what is the role of the counselors? I think the role of the counselor is this, but I'm asking a question. In a school of even 500 and 1,000 children, those schools have got a much larger population of students, can one counselor do this alone? Impossible. And therefore, what is the answer? Answer is every teacher has to be a counselor. So every teacher has to play that role. And this counseling, Vishal, happens at three layers. One is, of course, the children have their difficulties, while they are developing. So it is the classroom teacher who will observe what is the difficulty of the child. Is child taking interest in caring and sharing or not? How the child is connecting with others, how the child is building relationship. They know it. And they have to counsel them constantly as to how to do it. Another is age related. The psychology and physiology will interplay with each other, and there will be some need. Later on, the career counseling and things like that. In between, of course, some expert psychological, psychiatric, mental health, as we discussed, these problems will also be there. So we can have a need for that specialized thing. But for most of the things, if they are taking place in that structured manner, I think children will not reach the stage where a very specialized clinical addressing of the problem is required. And therefore, I always stress that all the teachers should be trained to be the counselors.
Wonderful, because I remember when I was growing up, there we never had the concept of counselors.
Yeah.
In
Of
fact,
course. Yeah.
like you said, some of our teachers and they,
Of course, they were
still
the
our
best
favorite
counselors.
teachers.
They were the best counselors,
They were the
because
best.
they would immediately recognize you. Hey, why are you low mood today?
Yeah.
Is there something wrong with you?
Yeah.
You're not as cheerful as you looked yesterday.
Absolutely.
You get my point? These are the very small queries which uplifts the children.
Very well said. It's a very beautiful thought. I hope the school management principals, anybody who's in the decision making power is watching this and they take the appropriate action of training their teachers in the role of counselors and to be more empathetic towards children.
Absolutely. This is one of the new skills that the teachers must develop, apart from their skills of teaching and communication and other things. I think how to recognize the problem writ large on the faces of their children.
This is again an important takeaway because I think we got two takeaways, one for parents and one for schools. To wrap up this episode, sir, what would be your final advice to the school management as well as to the parents for building resilient students?
Oh, yes. So, all the schools, you know it, and I know it. What do they strive for? We are very good in academics. We're very good in sports. Our children have gone to these many places. I think, can we build a new narrative where a school says that we do everything, but what we do with excellence is that we develop the children robust mentally, health wise, and we are a school where health education is the center of our activity.
And what with the parents, sir?
And you see, when we talk of schools, probably unfairly, we think that the parents are a different lot. Parents are part of the school community. That we have to recognize. And no school can thrive unless parents are partners in learning.
Thank you so much for sharing these thoughts with us. And I hope that the parents and the school management leaders, whosoever is watching it, can take these points and implement them in their lives. Thank you so much for watching us.
Thank you. Thank you, Vishal.
Thank you, sir.